Welcome along to episode 735 of the Milk Bar. Jason Forrest here with you as ever. And coming up on the show this week, we chat with Ted Lasso and Downton star Jeremy Swift all about his music work. We'll be having a natter with the team behind the Ladies' Night coming to the city of Wolverhampton very soon. Lisa Snowdon's along to talk about self-care time. Lydia Mark let us know about the Ghost of Beirut, a 4-part miniseries she's starring in on Paramount Plus. And Professor Sam Wass will be along as we have a chat all about getting out and about and the games you can play in the car. I Spy being a particular favourite of his, I feel. That's all on the way on the show this week.
Welcome to the Milk Bar. 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 Welcome to the Milk Bar.
Following the release in May on Paramount of Ghost of Berlin, there's going to be a much talk continuing throughout the rest of the year about this series. Somebody who can talk more about it now than they could have done earlier on this year is Lydia Mark, who joins me now. Hello.
Hello. How are you doing, Jason?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Very well.
Now, we've seen some amazing series on Paramount of late, and this is another of those amazing shows. Give us a bit of the detail on your part in all of this.
Yeah, so Ghost of Beirut is an espionage thriller, and it is a 25-year-old manhunt for Imad Mugnier, who was a leader rising up in Hezbollah. He was creating Hezbollah at the time. And my role is a young CIA targeter called Susan. And she, like many of the other operatives, become obsessed with finding out who this guy is. And from there, all of the twists and turns take place.
And when you are telling a story which is based in truth, it does make it a more interesting one when you approach those characters. And I'm sure that's something that you found.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's always really interesting when you're playing a character who may have existed, or if you're playing off of true events. I think there's always a responsibility to tell the story, but I think at the same time, you always want to entertain as well. And you're essentially crafting a character within this potentially real world. So I think when I started prepping for it, I did a lot of research into the Middle East and the conflict that was going on there, and a lot of research into how all of these events started taking place that led up to where our story starts. And it was really great to hear from real CIA operatives about how they were going through the process of tracking this guy down. So it was definitely very interesting to be in the mind of people who were working on this case at the time.
Yeah, because you're going back to a time when there were hostages being taken, and that is something which sticks in my memory. Again, it's before you were born, much of this, so that's part of it. But as for those of us who were around, it was constantly in the news, and to be telling a tale like this, looking for the ghost, and really exploring some of the background to the unheard stories at the time. And again, this is something which it must be interesting to learn the history of as you go along.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is definitely before my time. So I had a lot of catching up to do. In school, I did study a bit of Arab-Israeli conflict. So the knowledge, the groundwork was kind of already there. But I think it was going back. And of course, I'm Brit, but I was playing an American. So it's also about learning about that time from an American's point of view and how it affected them. And a lot of these cases and incidences that were happening, a lot of it was the first time. It was the first time they'd seen a suicide bomber. So a lot of it was very scary and very new, and also something that they knew they had to get on top of ASAP. So it was definitely great to take some old knowledge and to fuse it in with new perspectives.
And in particular with your skills going into this, you're classically trained. We've got your first feature, which you're working on at the moment. But there's been other TV series, and this is what gets you noticed, isn't it? And you used to be noticed from when you were sketched as a model at an early age too.
Yeah, I think I've had a lot of different experiences that have led up to now. I think you always have to trust the path that you get put on. And I remember thinking that acting was always something that I was interested in. I would do workshops with the Almeida Theatre. I would go on tour, and along with the modeling as well. And it was always something acting that was just on the side, in the peripherals. But frankly, I just didn't know how to do it as a real career. I was like, what? I can show up on stage or on set and get paid for it. Like, how do I do this? So then as time went on and it became more apparent to me, this is something that you should pursue, at least try. I mean, I always try to make sure that I don't have any regrets at the end. And I think it was really important for me to bring all of the knowledge, and thankfully modeling and acting can go quite well together. It's all about how you manipulate the camera. So yeah, it was definitely a very good journey, and I'm very excited for where it's going.
Well, obviously, we can see you on screen. Just looked on Paramount Plus for Ghosts of Beirut, and you can really tell a story here that has got potentially more legs for the future as well, because there's quite a lot that happened around this time that we could see an extension of. So you never know, we may see the return of your character.
I mean, that would be great. I don't know. At the moment, it's a mini series, so it's there to enjoy and I think it really works as a contained 4-part story, because when you do watch it, the storylines kind of take place across a block of 2 episodes and another 2 as well. So I think it's very contained. But I think there's definitely the potential for an anthology series or something along these lines, because there are a lot of instances and conflicts that have taken place in real life. And it's always interesting when you have that blend of education and entertainment as well. And I mean, who doesn't love a good spy thriller? I mean, that's
absolutely. Yeah, we make it for them up when it's real life as well. It really gives that edge. So it's worth checking this one out. Where do we find you on the socials?
Yeah, on socials, I'm on Instagram, so I'm Lydia_Mark, and you can currently catch me on Ghost of Beirut on Paramount Plus and Showtime.
Well, Lydia Mark, thank you for joining us. Keep up the good work, and we look forward to your next feature in the not too distant future.
Thank you so much for having me, Jason.
Now, one of the stars, Ted Lasso, and someone you'll have seen in Downton too, has more strings to his bow with an amazing musical talent as well. Jeremy Swift joins me now. Hello, sir.
Hello, Jason. How are you?
I'm good. I hope we're finding you full of life and enjoying stuff.
Kind of, yes. I've just had a physical training session, so the life has drained out of me slightly through the exertion, but it's gradually coming back. Yeah.
But I mean, you've been so busy of late. I dread to think how you managed to fit time for training and stuff in, but with Ted Lasso and everything else that you've had going on. What's it been like?
The Ted Lasso bit?
The manic hecticness of your life.
It may be not quite as manic as you think, but well, I'm very good at fitting other projects in. I have a lot of self-motivated, self-orientated projects, as well as filming. So on the days that I'm not doing those, I am doing music or writing. But the whole Ted Lasso thing has been, it's a huge worldwide phenomenon. It's particularly big in the States, slightly more than it is over here in the UK. And that has been in over 4 decades of working as an actor, the biggest job I've ever had. So it's been quite gobsmacking, to be honest. I have to shake my head constantly and to realize that it is as big as I think it is, as it is, because you build up a sort of element of cynicism when you're working, and that you think this is going to be a big thing, and then it isn't, but this really is. So and I'm very appreciative of being in such a fabulous show. So yeah.
Well, hopefully this will also help more people find what else you do, because you're not new to this music lark, really, are you?
No, indeed. Well, I've been a musician for a long time, and I've had bands. Bit difficult to keep a band going when you've got an acting career. Mm-hmm. So that's why, of late, I've been producing my own music through tech, ostensibly. because it's more expedient to do that way. I would love to play with people much more, but to actually to fit it in, as you say, in my busy schedule, it's easier to do things on laptops, and it's something I've been doing for quite a long time. Is getting familiar with the software for all this sort of stuff. Sort of started with a computer called the Atari 1040 about 30 or plus years ago, which I finally bought, and that sort of led me onto this path. That at the time was that computer was the sole computer that made music, and of course now you can make music on your phone. Anybody can do it. But I love doing it. I love multi-tracking and making music.
It's doing it well enough to get it featured in film and theatre, and then being able to bring together a single which is going to do well. There's the difference here, because I mean, you must have enjoyed it whilst you've been dropping in and out of things, been able to do the likes of some TV scores and the like.
Absolutely, yeah. At the beginning of last year, I did the soundscape for an old school friend, James Gaddis. He was doing a one-person play about Dracula, if you can imagine such a thing. It was really, really very good, actually. But he needed a lot of spooky stuff, so I really enjoyed putting all that together. And that was in a very different musical world from the songs that I write on my new album, Songs of Escape and Endless Night. There's a different kind of vocabulary that you use, for it's ostensibly pop music, but big and textured and passionate.
And is this a development of what you did on your debut album, Everything's a Joke, back in 2017, or is it maybe a bit of a new direction?
I think it is a logical development, really, Jason. But the difference being that this time I've got a producer. I did produce it myself on the first album, and although I'm pretty pleased with it overall, I thought this time I'd have somebody to bounce off, because you can get a bit lonely doing stuff all on your own, because you sort of think, is this any good? I don't know. What do you think? And then you end up talking to yourself like that, you see. So it's great to have somebody to bounce ideas off. And I had a fantastic producer called Mark Warman, who's worked in all sorts of fields. He's conducted choirs. He teaches at the Royal College of Music, and he knows every bit of the software. He's a real software nerd that we use together. And so, I'll do a lot of instrumentation, and then I'll take it to him, and he's a bit like a lovely sort of musical vicar. He'd sort of say, well, I think I've got a much nicer string sound than that. So he ups the game on the instrumentation, and then he would help me with do all the vocals. And there's a lot of vocals on the album. And my last single, Wonderland, which came out last year, I think I had about 27 vocal tracks on there.
Wow.
So it's there's a lot going on.
And are you doing musical theatre as well? Because I mean, you're able to, surely. But what's going on there? Because that's one area I've not seen your name in.
No, funnily enough, I never really done musical theatre. Bizarrely, I've done, Mary Poppins Returns, which I got to sing in. And I'm singing in unfortunately, I can't really talk about it, an up and coming Disney movie project. But no, you're absolutely right. It's just not come my way, or sometimes people get typecast in certain things, and then they're asked again. I've never really been asked to do a musical theatre job, so who knows? It might happen.
But the important thing is, at the moment, is the brand new single. Tell us about the release date.
It comes out on the 24th. It's called Can't Stop Doing It. And you can see what it's all about on YouTube, because I've done a video for it, which I'm really chuffed with. It's quite an earworm of a single, it has to be said. It was one of the track on the album that really stood out. It's really cried out to be a single. So the single is about compulsive and addictive behavior, really. And that's the feel about it, really. There's a lot of different sort of styles on the album. So if you do like the single, it's not necessarily indicative of the album, but there are some great pop tunes on there as well, in different sorts of textures, really.
And how do you see this sort of thing developing? Because we want to see this do well in the charts. We want to. I'd love to see you in a musical theatre production touring if you ever get time to do it. But you are in demand, so I know that might be tricky. But yeah, what happens next from here? Because I can see you in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's very, very sweet of you. I would love to do some gigs, but it's getting musicians together and gigs in line. It's very difficult when at the moment I've got quite a few things in the pipeline. So it's always been the way. But if there is a take up for the single or the album, then or any future projects, then I would love to do some live gigs. I really would. It would be great to sort of get it out there.
Keep it pop. Turn yourself into a one-man boy band. Before you know it, you'll be on the YouTube hits aplenty. It'll be amazing. I can see that working.
Absolutely. Well, I hope somebody gets into it.
I can see they will do. We'll take a listen to it in a moment's time. Before you do, give us where you are on all the socials, because as I say, the projects you can't talk about, we'll find out about in the near future, I'm sure. But everything else, where do we find the world of Jeremy Swift?
Well, I am on Instagram and now Threads. I left Twitter because I thought it got a little bit too toxic. Threads I'm finding a little bit easier than Twitter, if I'm honest. So yeah, you can catch up with all my stuff there, and there's the cover of the single, and there's links to tracks from my album.
Well, check that all out. Can't Stop Doing It is the single. Jeremy Swift is the star of the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Jason. Good to talk to you.
Can't stop doing it. I'm going round in circles. Yes, I'm spinning round the roundabout. Yeah. Can't stop doing it. I'm going round in circles. Yes, I'm spinning round the roundabout. Can't stop doing it. I'm going round in circles. Yes, I'm spinning round the roundabout. Yeah. Can't stop doing it. I'm going round in circles. Yes, I'm spinning round the roundabout. me.
On the 29th of September, the Harrowby Arms is playing host to a night which is very adult. Adult entertainment only, but some good fun, if that's your thing. To tell us more, I have Zach, who's part of the stripping team there, so we probably worked out what's going on there. And also we have Anthony Hall, who is here because you are helping with the promotion. Hello to you both.
Hello.
Hello.
Right, so first of all, Anthony, give us a bit of the background on the event itself.
So it's all kicking off on Friday the 29th of September. Doors will open at 7 o'clock and the show starts at 8 o'clock prompt. It is a ticket-only event and tickets are priced at £10 per ticket. Ideal for groups, ideal for hen nights, ideal for everybody.
Now, the Harrowby are working alongside the Marsh Lane Plant Sale because you're both supporting the same charity. Yeah. There's going to be a raffle on the night, and that's an Ann Summers hamper. So tell us a bit about how that's going to work and where the money's going to.
Okay, so obviously the money we're raising from the AMPA is going to West Park Stroke Cycling Group, which you know, Jason, is in connection with my father, who had a stroke in 2019. Mm-hmm. We came up with the idea because, you know, it's about supporting local. It's our local pub. It's about sticking together, working together. But, you know, it's not just about stripping. It is live entertainment, you know, and it's rare to come by these days. And not only did we have the strippers on, we also have an amazing drag queen. We have fire eating from a special guest. And lots of other stuff, really. Okay,
Zach, this is where you come in, because there's the show itself. Well, it's definitely adults only, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely adults only.
And this is it's part of your job. You're out there and you're entertaining mostly women and a few fellas pretty much the whole weekend.
Yeah, the whole weekend. Friday, Saturdays, occasionally Sundays. It can be any day, really.
Yeah.
Whenever there's a show.
Whenever you get booked.
Whenever you get booked.
I mean, because I remember back in the 80s, I mean, kissograms was the thing, and that sort of stuff went on.
Yeah, they're called stripograms now.
Yeah, and that they used to do that sort of stuff as well?
Yeah, same kind of thing. House parties, birthdays, hen parties, small venues, big venues. Just depend on the number of the people that are there.
And it is about having a bit of a laugh, so everyone's got to come with an open mind.
Yeah, I mean, people have like a stigma that it's quite seedy, but there's nothing seedy about it. It's quite, you know...
Everyone's fairly well behaved.
Oh, well, the strippers are, yeah. The strippers are.
The audience, that's another matter.
The audience, I mean, I'm not going to say that. Come and find out. Come and find out.
but it is certainly something for those who are not easily shocked and those who are willing to have a bit of a giggle that night. Yeah. And Anthony, I mean, this is open for everyone to come along to as long as you're over 18.
Yeah, no, 100%. We're trying to promote like the idea. Yeah, it is billed as a ladies' night, but you know, a ladies' night doesn't mean that nobody can come. It's literally anybody can come. You know, we're wanting men to come and join in. We want the LGBT community to come and join in. You know, it's come and have fun. Come and enjoy yourself.
And when it comes to your outfits on stage, I think we can discuss what you have on. We won't discuss what you have off. But do you theme it? What can the ladies and gents expect?
Well, I've been to Harrowby twice before now, so I'm kind of running out of outfits to wear.
So you got new. That doesn't mean you turn up naked at the start of the night.
Oh, well, that's an idea. No, yeah, the different ideas, different outfits, different occasions. I've got like a little wardrobe at home, which is... And
how do you source these things? Is there a special place? Are there websites for that? There probably are websites for
No. Mainly, like, you can go to Army and Naval.
and work your way through.
Yeah, just work your way through. So Army and Naval shops. I mean, a lot of outfits, a lot of strippers do make their own outfits from like different bits. I mean, I know a stripper who makes his own cowboy outfit from just a denim jacket and jeans and flags.
You're not there with a sewing machine, though?
No. I'm looking for someone with a sewing machine, so if anyone has a sewing machine and wants to start me out, please hit me up.
And of course, alongside all of that, you've got a brilliant DJ on the night as well.
We have indeed playing the tunes all night. We're hoping everyone will jump up there and have a lot of fun. But talking about strippers, I think we might need a fireman on hand as well, obviously with the fire eating going on.
Okay, we'll see what happens. Okay, we'll see how that works out.
I can see what I can do.
There's all sorts of jokes we are not going to do there.
Yeah,
however, so how do people get hold of tickets?
There's lots of different ways, actually. You know, you can get the tickets directly from the Harrowby Arms, which is in Forward Houses, Wolverhampton. They are on Facebook. You can get their details. Marsh Lane Plant Sale, which is in Marsh Lane opposite the Academy, and you can also get them online at ticketsource.com.
And raffle, which is where the funds are going to charity from, that'll all be selling tickets on the night?
Yeah, those will be sold as £1 a strip on the night. There's also shots as well. There's raffle tickets to purchase for lap dancing as well.
Yeah.
There's lots of things going on that night.
It's making it sound seedy again.
He would do, though, wouldn't he?
Yeah, but it's just a bit of fun as far as
it's basically just fun. I mean, people who turn up, I mean, if they don't want to get involved in the night, they don't have to. They can sit and watch. I mean, a lot of girls sometimes don't want to get hands on. That's down to them. The strippers will just be like, okay, and walk away from them. But a lot of the time,
because basically you just go around and tease the audience only if they want to be teased.
Yeah, if they're not interested, and you can generally see they're not interested, and they're not here for that kind of thing, then we just kind of like bid you farewell and leave them to it, and then we just go and carry on teasing the rest of the girls.
So you can sit down there with the G&T and then you wander around and
there we go.
And play.
Yeah, that's it. Well, play. Yeah,
on
definitely.
some occasions, you get the odd guy actually wants to get involved more than the women.
Yeah, it's him. But there we go. Right, so that's all going on. Harrowbury Arms coming up in September. Get your tickets in advance. You will need to book, and make sure you can get down here for a brilliant night. Well, nice to meet you both, and nice to meet you again. Jason. And we will no doubt be catching up close to the time with updates on what's going on with the charity funding.
Are you going to come and join us on the 29th?
I'm washing my hair that night, but you guys have a great time.
We've got the fireman outfit for Jason.
Then that's not going to work.
It would.
Now, with Self-Care Awareness Day on the 24th of July, there's new research has been revealed that's showing women are not getting the full time that they could do with to be able to be ready for the day. To tell us more, I'm joined now by Lisa Snowdon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jason.
Now, as a broadcaster and self-care influencer, you know a thing or two about what we need to do, and it's all about personal time.
I think we all need to do this, but the research that came out was really shocking to me because 17 minutes a day isn't that long, and I think some women will be listening and being like, oh my gosh, I don't have that time. But it's not about that 17 minutes condensed. It's about these little moments throughout the day and trying to get that self-care gap, just to close that gap, because the desired amount of self-care per day is 52 minutes. Women are getting 17. That is not enough. And it's just trying to carve out more time in the day in order to help us to feel and look the best we possibly can. Research has shown that, we are more anxious, we are more stressed when we let the self-care slip lower down on that list. And, as soon as we get busy, as soon as we start multitasking, that's when it happens more and more and more. So that's when we need to prioritize our wellness and really look at what we're doing day to day.
Yeah, your Self-Care Sunday, which you do online with more than 500,000 Instagram followers, is a step in that right direction as well, helping people to have some self-care time. So what is included in self-care?
Self-care is different to everybody. So you need to look at what makes you happy, like what are important aspects of self-care for you. So for me, it would be movement. I like to go out. I like to go to the gym. I like to go to classes. Some people might like to go for a run. I find food massively important in my kind of whole self-care regime. Sleep. I love having like kind of spa-like experience in my bathroom, using gorgeous products that are going to help to lift my mood, energize me, leave me smelling gorgeous and leave my skin nice and soft. Like all of those little kind of moments are so important. Slipping into a bath with a beautiful candle, all these different things all, make up self-care. It could be reading a book. It could be watching a box set. It's like whatever you can to carve out more time in your day where you're doing things that make you happy, that help to de-stress you. That's what self-care is all about.
Yeah, because scent is a massive part of that, and that's where the Sanctuary Spa range comes in, isn't it? Because you can enjoy that, and just that. I think whether it be your own perfume or somebody else's, it's those smells that suddenly can trigger something, and when you are chilling out in the bath, it really does make a difference.
No, you're absolutely right. So in the morning, if you just want to like refresh and reinvigorate yourself, they've got a beautiful new range. It's the Golden Sandalwood range. So that's like uplifting. It's got this beautiful kind of sandalwood and freesia and black pepper, and the gorgeous smells. Like you say, they trigger something. They're nostalgic. They take you to a place. They lift your spirits. They can totally change your mood, or sinking into a lovely bath at the end of the day with a beautiful range like that, like the Golden Sandalwood with candles. It doesn't have to cost the earth either. These are small little changes that you can make, and that's why self-care and being an advocate for self-care is so important to me, because we can all dip in, we can all do more to help us day to day, and it doesn't have to cost the earth.
And what have you done yourself for Self-Care Awareness Day this year?
So I have had a lovely morning. I got up a little bit earlier so I could have my tea. I could make myself a smoothie. Shower for me is non-negotiable. Get into a lovely shower, body scrub, wash my hair, do all of the above. And then, just kind of, I take time to kind of slow everything down. So I try and stay off my phone, say traveling into work today, did some kind of mindfulness, did a bit of breath work, all these little things. You could just make that little 4 minutes here, 3 minutes here, just to help to kind of decompress, get you ready for the day, get you kind of like in a good space. If something does change, something does happen, you're not already overly anxious and already kind of slightly, you're just a little bit more in a kind of calm space to be able to deal with it and deal with whatever comes your way. So,
and if you're having a bit of a bad day, do you sometimes maybe sneak a bottle of shower gel from Sanctuary Spa into your bag so you can have a sniff at the scent halfway through the day to give you a bit of a lift?
Keep it with me in my handbag all the time. No, but things like sprays, like pillow sprays really change your mood. Or like, I've got like different like aura sprays and stuff that I like to have with me. Or even just putting your favorite perfume in your bag just to change that energy, just to kind of smell your wrist, take you to a nice place. And I like to have my book on me. So if there's a little 5-10 minutes, I can go and find a coffee shop, go and sit, and just watch the world go by or read my book. I like to make lists so I can kind of organize what kind of food I want to make throughout the week. And so I'm not kind of running on empty and being like, there's nothing in the fridge and you're panicking at the end of the day. Being a bit more organized, giving yourself a bit of time in the morning to make your tea, get ready for the day. And then smells are massively important. It can totally transform your day and just take you to a really beautiful, calming place.
So it is really about in some ways planning, but giving yourself the time to plan your day so it works around you and not you working around the day.
Yeah, exactly. You've got a bit more control of how you see your day going, how you see your week going. And I found lists incredibly important, especially as I've gotten older, and I don't beat myself up if I don't get everything done on the list. I just move it over to the next day. But there's something so rewarding about ticking off that, like, yep, done that. Even if it's just something really simple, you just feel like you're achieving and it's like a big tick. And I think that it inspires you to do more as well. It inspires you to like, oh, you know what, actually, the kids are entertained. I'm just going to go and watch a little bit of a series that I'm watching, or I might just say, kids, I'm going to have a shower. Like just having that time for you, having those boundaries, those priorities, and just making that time for you. It's so important. I don't want the women of the UK just having 17 minutes of slapdash, really quick, get it while we can time. It needs to be longer. It needs to be more thought out. It needs to be more meaningful and mindful, because we know it has such a big impact on our mental and physical well-being. So please, please, please just take a little time here and there. Don't see it as being selfish. Self-care isn't selfish. Putting yourself at the top of that list is so important. Then you can be the best version of yourself and you can be there for your kids, for your husband, for whoever's in your life who might be quite demanding. It just gives you that edge of like just being able to be like, you know what, I've got this because I've done X, Y, and Z, and I can give to you now because I'm ready. And that's kind of where we need to be.
Well, first of all, where do we find you on Insta before we come onto the Sanctuary report?
So I'm at Lisa_Snowdon, and you'll find loads of self-care, you'll find recipe, you'll find all sorts of different things that I love to do that all for me equal self-care. And then you can go to sanctuaryspa.com, and they really want the UK just to really get involved, get loads of tips and tricks on that website so they can find ways to how to kind of change their day and implement more self-care into their world. And you see all the new range as well online, and it's delicious.
That's the way we like it, all smelling good. The world is a better place. Lisa Snowdon, broadcaster and self-care influencer. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jason. Take care.
New research from QuickFit is telling us that today's children are nearly twice as likely to spend a car journey doing solo activities than those of us born in the 70s. To tell us more, I'm joined now by Professor Sam Wass. Hello, sir. How are you doing today?
Hi, Jason. Great, thanks.
Always good to catch up with you. Now, as a child psychologist, and the TV presenting probably gives you a world of media, we know that kids are more likely to be sat watching a screen these days than joining in with maybe I Spy.
Yeah, so this is research from QuickFit, as you were saying, kind of looking at how what we do during long car journeys has changed. And the thing that I really, really want to emphasize from this, Jason, is this research suggests that, people used to spend more time doing family car games, Now they're more likely to spend more time on their phones. But the really important thing is this is something that people regret. When you ask people to look back on what their fond memories are, of going on holiday together as a family, that type of thing, nobody looks back fondly on the car journeys when everybody just spent the whole time staring at their phones. But people do have golden memories from those games that everyone used to play together, singing along to the car radio together. So this is something that we wanted to raise awareness of, particularly, Jason, because from my perspective as a developmental psychologist, I think there's a lot amount of benefit to doing games together, to playing to games together as a family. So we really wanted to raise awareness about that.
And I think it's good for the driver too, joining in, because it keeps you alert if you're actually talking to the kids.
Definitely, yeah. It keeps you alert, gives you something to think about, but also just stops those rows from brewing. Because, what a lot of people say they always hate about car journeys is where they've got two kids who are frantically trying to gouge each other's eyes out in the back seat, and you're trying to keep order in the front seat as well as driving. And that can be really, really tricky. So definitely good for your concentration that you've got something to think about as well. But also it stops those rows brewing that can be quite tricky to deal with otherwise.
And it does stop them asking, "Are we there yet?"
Yeah, definitely, which is a really tricky thing to do. So there's loads of different games. So this research from QuickFit looked at the most popular games. And so people in the West Midlands typically played I Spy. That was the most popular one, 63%. Alphabet Game, 20%. Car Colour Bingo, 22%. So those were the big ones. All of those were ones we played in my family. I mean, honestly, actually, Jason, in my family, I Spy was the one that sometimes led to arguments. But I don't know about you.
It's in a moving car. I find I Spy a bit difficult unless you're spying something in the car. You've got way past what it was you were looking at.
Yeah, no, definitely that's tricky. But also when you cheat, I remember my father, there was one for about 20 minutes in the car. I Spy a Q, something beginning with a Q, and he wouldn't tell us, and we spent about 20 minutes trying to guess. And then at the end of it, he said, "Well, actually, that air conditioning unit is a square, so that is a quadrant." Like that, and we were furious with him. We were really, really cross with him for the rest of the journey.
That makes sense. I can see that why that wouldn't go down particularly well. But
cheating, I reckon. Yeah.
But it is for that. It is education as well in many ways.
Definitely. So it's good for education, but also the thing that people might not be aware of is, so there's a lot of research now suggesting that, just doing things together as a family. So whether it's, all trying to think together of things that begin with Q, or singing songs together on the radio, or any type of joint activity where you're thinking about the same things at the same time, going through the same emotions at the same time, that really helps us to kind of build up kind of our feelings of togetherness as a family. So feelings of being together as a unit. And, that's really quite evidence-based now. So looking at things like, why we go to sports events together, why we do, go to pop concerts together, that feeling things at the same time helps us to feel connected to people. So that's something that can really alter your family dynamics as well afterwards. If you're going on holiday, you want, your kids to open up to you about how they're really feeling. You want them to help with the washing up after dinner, that type of thing. So those are reasons that people might not be aware of why there really is quite a good scientific case now why, going on, kind of playing these types of games together in the car really has a lot of benefits.
And as well as that, I mean, it makes the journey part of the holiday too, instead of just being that boring bit at the beginning and end.
Yeah, definitely. And it's quite kind of understandable in a way why people do it. I think about this when we're on the tube in London, that, when we're really close together with people, particularly in cars, because, you share moods in cars and, we have this thing of stress contagion where one person winding each other up, those types of things. And in London, we have the same thing when we're very close to each other on the tube, when someone's inside your bubble, and the way that you cope is by pretending they're not there. And a lot of the time, I think this kind of car journey is driving people onto their phones. And, it's the same thing. I'm really, really close to someone, so I'm going to blank them out and I'm going to go into my own world. But as I say, there's quite a strong evidence case that, A, this isn't what makes us feel good long term. What makes us feel good long term is interacting with people and having fun with them. And B, that it doesn't help the family dynamics as much.
So a happy family is a family that plays the ultimate car games, which QuickFit have got on their website, I take it.
Yeah, definitely. So there's a list of kind of the science of car games, but also a long list of kind of ideas, things like kind of sheets for different games that you can play, all on the QuickFit website.
So even maybe print some stuff out, take it with you, and it's fun to fill in as you go along.
Definitely, yeah. This was something actually that I was reading about that was one of the popular ones, car bingo. My parents never did that. I was thinking that'd be really fun, where you get these printout sheets and you can tick things off as you go. We did used to play that actually, but we used to play it with different cars. So you got different points if you spotted a different type of car. So no, I'm showing my age now, but it was all kind of Volkswagens you got, and then a Trabant you got, and then our bonus, which is if you were the first one to spot it, you won automatically, was a Reliant Robin. So I'm showing my age now, Jason.
But that'd be major bonus points these days. I think they've all rusted into oblivion, apart from the one that's in the Trotter family.
I'm not sure there are any left. I haven't seen one for a long time. I used to love that excitement when you spotted one.
It's all a good bit of fun. Give us that web address again for the ultimate guide.
Yeah, so that's the QuickFit website. So just Google QuickFit and it'll come straight up.
Well, Professor Sam was always good to speak to you. Thank you for joining us, and many a happy car journey for you playing car bingo.
Great. Thanks, Jason.
That's all for this week. Thank you so much for joining me back with episode 736 next week. I'll see you then. Ta-ra for now.
Goodbye from the milk bar. 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 Yeah. Goodbye from the milk bar. Yeah.